Hello, I am Tuệ An. Welcome to Insightful Journey. Today we won't talk about the noise outside, but we will sit here, touching upon the biggest, most haunting, yet possibly the most peaceful question of human life. Have you ever looked at a photograph of a loved one who has passed, listened to the clock ticking in the empty room, and asked yourself a heart-wrenching question? Where are they? Did everything truly vanish into thin air? We often fear death not because of the physical pain, but because of the fear of total loss. Fear that those we love, after their last breath, are merely dust and ashes. But what if I told you that both modern quantum science and the ancient wisdom of the Buddha are converging on one point? That death is not a period, but a comma to transition to a new page. Would you believe it? I want to tell you about Nam. Nam is a young architect, a man who always believed in numbers, technical drawings, and what his eyes could see and ears could hear. For Nam, life was a straight line. Born, grew up, got old, and died. That's it. No afterlife, no soul. Until the day his mother passed away. It was a day of heavy rain. Nam sat by the bedside, holding his mother's hand as it slowly grew cold. He felt life gradually draining away. When the doctor announced the time of death, Nam didn't cry. He stood there, isolated. But when he returned home, looked at the rattan chair his mother used to sit in, looked at the cold teapot, Nam collapsed. He cried out silently. Where did Mom go? Did that great love, that memory, that person just disappear with a bang? It's illogical. It's cruel. In the following days, Nam fell into depression. He was haunted by the thought that death is the end. If death is the end, then what is the purpose of living? Why strive? Why love if everything eventually returns to zero? In his desperation for answers, Nam plunged into reading. He read everything from medical books and neurology to religious texts that he had previously ignored. One afternoon, Nam happened to read about the law of conservation of energy in physics, and at the same time on the table was a book on reincarnation from Buddhism. A light bulb went off in Nam's head. He looked out the window. The rain had just stopped. Puddles in the yard were evaporating under the afternoon sun. Nam asked himself, water evaporates into the sky as clouds. Clouds turn into rain that falls to the earth. Does water ever die? No, it only changes form. In that moment, Nam burst into tears. Not tears of despair, but tears of sudden realization. He realized that his mother did not vanish. She was simply no longer in her old physical form. Dear friend, Nam's story is the story of many of us. We suffer intensely because we cling to the concepts of being and non-being. We think birth is going from nothing to something, and death is going from something back to nothing. But the great truth Tuệ An wants to share with you today is, death is not the end of life. Death is the end of one form to begin a new journey. Just like a cloud, it never dies. When it is no longer a cloud, it is rain, snow, or a river. Humanity's greatest fear comes from ignorance, not understanding this law of transformation. When you understand it, you will see the passing of a loved one not as eternal separation, but as a change of residence for the consciousness. But wait, is this just religious comfort to soothe the pain? Or is there real, verifiable evidence? Hold on to your attention, because what I am about to share about the convergence between Nobel Prize-winning scientists and enlightened masters from 2,500 years ago will give you chills due to the uncanny coincidence. Let Tuệ An dissect this issue from two perspectives that seem opposite, but are beautifully complementary. First, let's talk about science. Do you remember Einstein's law of conservation of energy? Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be changed from one form to another. The human body is matter, and our consciousness, thoughts, and emotions are a complex form of energy, the brain's electromagnetic field. When a person dies, the body returns to dust, matter transforms. But what about the consciousness energy? Science confirms that energy cannot be annihilated. So where does it go? Many Western scientists, such as Dr. Sam Parnia and Dr. Pim van Lommel, have studied thousands of cases of near-death experiences, NDE. People whose hearts have stopped and brains have flatlined, yet when revived, they accurately recount events that happened in the operating room, even describing meeting deceased loved ones in a space filled with light and love. This challenges the materialistic view that brain death is the end. It seems that consciousness continues to exist independently when the body stops functioning. And now, let's listen to the wisdom of the Buddha. Over 25 centuries ago, the Buddha did not use microscopes or electroencephalographs, but he saw through the nature of the universe with his wisdom eye. Buddhism calls that continuous flow of energy karma consciousness, or the intermediate state, bardo. The Buddha taught about reincarnation, samsara, not to frighten, but to explain the fairness and continuity of the universe. There is a very profound perspective in the Aggañña Sutta that few pay attention to. The Buddha described that in the beginning, beings in the Abhasara Brahma world had subtle, luminous bodies, flew freely, and lived on joy. But out of curiosity, they tasted sweet earth, symbolizing desire, materialism, and their bodies became heavy, coarse, lost their radiance, and could no longer fly. They were trapped in flesh and blood forms and began the cycle of birth and death, samsara, in this world. This detail is fascinating when compared to physics. When energy, light, is condensed, it becomes matter. And the more we cling to matter, to the ego, to desire, the lower our vibrational frequency becomes, and the more we are stuck in the suffering of samsara. The convergence. Western science once thought life was singular, YOLO. But now, quantum physics speaks of the multiverse, of quantum entanglement, where distance and time cease to matter. Doesn't this sound strikingly similar to the concepts of impermanence and non-self? Death, essentially, is just taking off an old tattered garment, the body, to put on a new one, corresponding to the money, karmic force, we have accumulated. Having understood this, what should we, the living, do to lessen our suffering and help the departed? Tuệ An suggests 3 simple yet immensely powerful steps of practice for you. Step 1. Change the way you remember. Transform pain into positive energy. Instead of weeping and being miserable, understand that your loved one exists as a highly sensitive energy form. Your excessive suffering will cause them to cling, weigh down their hearts, and make transcendence difficult. Every time you remember them, smile and send a thought. Thank you for coming into my life. I am well. Please rest assured and continue your new journey. That is compassionate letting go. Step 2. Practice merit dedication, sending gifts to the departed. You cannot send money or paper clothes down there through burning rituals, which are merely folk customs. In Buddhism, the only gift the deceased receive is merit. Do good deeds, help the poor, practice life release, or simply live kindly without anger or greed. After each good deed, dedicate the merit. I dedicate this merit to, may they find peace. This is the most scientific spiritual connection, using benevolent energy to resonate with the recipient. Step 3. Live every moment fully. Don't wait until loss strikes to regret. Understanding reincarnation is about valuing the present. Your loved one has never truly gone. They are living in your very cells, in the teachings they left behind, in your smile. By living happily, you are making their continuation beautiful. Don't let their legacy be a sorrowful, despairing child. Dear friend, when the rain stops, it doesn't mean the water has vanished. The sun sets in the west only to rise brilliantly in the east. Your loved one is the same. They have just walked through a door that our physical eyes cannot see. When Nam, the young man in the story, understood this, He no longer looked at his mother's photo with heartbreaking pain. He saw his mother in the good deeds he performed, in the peace he was cultivating. Death is the final exam of life, but not the end of the music. Live so that when you take off the garment and depart, the baggage you carry is lightness and light, not heavy clinging. You were not born to vanish like a grain of sand, but to flow like rivers, carrying fertile silt to nurture generations. If you have ever felt the presence of a departed loved one, leave a dot in the comments. You are not alone. Remember, I am still here if you need me. And don't forget to subscribe to Insightful Journey so we can continue finding peace together.